Good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Stranks and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Thanks for joining me today. I'll get onto the card in just a minute. Just a couple of things before I start. I've got a Facebook page called Cards by Laura. In there you'll find all my cards that I do at my workshops and classes. They're just for viewing in there. There's no files or PDFs or anything like that in that Facebook page. I've got a large Facebook group, very active in this group with all my members. It's called Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. All the PDFs for my YouTube videos as well as my live videos that I do on a Saturday morning, they all go into the Files tab in this group, Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. In there you'll find a featured tab. There's some videos pinned in there, which are also my YouTube videos. I upload them to YouTube. The photos tab in there has lots and lots of photos of all the creations that the ladies do in my group. If you wish to join this group for the PDFs or anything else that you want to have a look at, you'll need to answer 2 questions when you submit your thing to join. One is why you wish to join the group, and the other is that you agree to the rules. If you don't see the questions on the device you're on, you'll need to go to a different device. If you're on your phone, try your iPad or PC or laptop. You do need to answer the questions, otherwise I will send you back a little notification to say that you haven't answered and you can try again. My YouTube channel, if you're watching for the first time today, is called Creative Gems. Love you to subscribe. I'm slowly creeping up with my numbers. I love what I do. If you hit the subscribe button, you will also see a little bell come up. If you hit that, it'll notify you each time my cards go up for viewing. What was I going to say? I do record my videos, so they're not live. I do a live on a Saturday morning in my group, but these are recorded, so I keep ahead of them so that there's always one there every Monday morning. I schedule it to go up on a Monday morning at 9 a.m. So that's when you'll be watching it. I shall put all that aside for now. That's all we need to do on that. This is the card that I'm doing today. It is so easy. The hardest part was deciding what to decorate it with, and there's lots of little cut pieces. But as you can see, it's a proper card. The one I'm doing today, I might do the other way. I'll show you when I get to it. I do like it this way. That's my inside. This specific card was made for my daughter-in-law who is having a bub in January next year. I'm having a baby shower here in November, and I've done this card for her for the baby shower. I'm so excited. She's been trying, or that my son and her have been trying for 15 years to have a bub, and they were about to start IVF, and next minute she found she was pregnant. So it was such a surprise. They're a little bit older in life now. They've been married for 16 years, but yes, it's so exciting. And she's having a little girl, as you can tell by the pink. So yeah. I'm going to show you how I made this card. It won't take long. I've done a lot of the prepping, so hopefully we'll get through it reasonably quick. I've done all my little squares and stuck them together, so we'll put all that on in a minute. And I'm doing a Christmas theme one for my card, the card today, because I don't need another baby one. And this is called a pyramid block card, and I did find it it's from a few years ago now. I found it's the easiest ever block card that I've done. I've done a few over the years, and I found this is the easiest one and the most stunning when it's finished. I have added a couple of little tweaks of my own as well. So the pieces you will need, not a lot of pieces. There's 4 pieces, main pieces altogether. My cardstock base, I've chosen Old Olive. This is number 1. I've numbered each of the pieces so we know which ones we're working with. 11 1/4 by 5 5/8 is that one. And then number 2 is 8.5 by 5 5/8. which is this one here, same colour. My mats, we'll get to those in a minute. Down here, this one here is a 5 5/8 by 1 3/4. I'll show you where that goes when we get to it. And this piece here is for, number 3, 6 5/8 by 1 7/8. That's that one there. So that's all of, and the white piece, I've already decorated the back of it. It's 5 3/8 by 5 3/8. It's a square card. It'll end up just 5 1/2 by 5 1/2, I think it ends up. The video that I watched, he scaled it down to 5 5/8 so that it would fit comfortably with all the bulk in a 6 by 6 envelope. So that makes it easy as well. And then my 16 pieces, I've got the mats in gold. I've got them in order here, that one I want to put on. So I've got gold mats, all different ones. And then they are 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. And then the DSP on those is 1 3/8 by 1 3/8. And I've stamped some, or I've gold embossed some with writing, just a couple with writing. And the rest are all out of, I'll get you the paper that I've used. It's one of the new ones in the mini catalogue. Very, very pretty. It's this one here. It's called Traditions of Christmas. And I've just cut little squares out of some of the different patterns in the paper. You would have seen it by now in the mini catalogue. Lots of pretty papers in there. Just plain on the reverse side, but gold foil accents on the fronts. So that's the paper I'm using. I haven't got out any embellishments, but I'll do those later. We can have a look at that later. The stamp sets that I've used, this one here, what did I get out of? Oh, this was the die that I cut those out of. They're cut out of the paper, those two there, and I used the die out of that set. And then Jolly Holly, I've stamped these bells and this little starry, I don't know whether it's a leaf or a star. And I've used the Merry Christmas. I stamped that on one. And I think I used, that one, from Our Family to Yours on one of the greetings as well. So they're the stamp sets that I used. We'll put these aside and we'll get to some scoring. Now, I will put the measurements, these measurements, in the description box of today's video, but the full PDF will be in my Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials group. So you can join that group if you wish, the full tutorial. So I'll put that aside for now. We don't need that. And I've got my measurements here ready. And I'll just get my scorer. Not a lot of scoring, but I'll go through it slowly with you. So this piece here, number 1, it will end up the square. So it's 5 5/8 we're scoring at, which is that one there. That's just straight down the middle. We can fold that. So the card, that this baby one, I've done it as a tent fold that way, but this time you can do it this way as well. So I might do it this way this time. It makes no difference. I just sort of try something different to see how it looks. I'll just burnish that really well. Then number 2 piece, this is the one that's a little bit of extra scoring. So it measures, where am I? 8 1/2 by 5 5/8. I'll just double check it. 5 5/8 by 8 1/2, which is right. So you want the short side first, and you're going to score at 1 7/8. So each of your squares will end up 1 7/8. So your mats then will be 1 5/8, and then your DSP will be 1 3/8. So you're scoring that right through on the one with the left edge on 1 7/8, and then rotate it 180 and score at 1 7/8. always when I'm doing the same score mark on either side of a piece, I rotate 180, even if it's like a 1 and a 2 inch. On one side, I'll go 1 and 2 on one side and then rotate 180 and then do 1 and 2 on the other side, just so it comes out even. Now you want the long side at the top, and you're scoring at 1/2 inch. This one's pretty even scoring. 1/2 inch. All these will be in the PDF. 2 3/8. 2 3/8, which is 2 strokes before the half. Just make sure I get all these right. 4 1/4. Quarter is halfway between the 4 and the 4 1/2. 6 1/8, which I'll pull this out. 1/8 is just, if you've got a Stampin' Up! Trimmer, it's the fine line just before this change of colour in on your trimmer. 6 1/8, and then 8 inches is the last one. I'll just go through those again with you. So you've got 1/2 inch, 2 3/8, 4 1/4, 6 1/8, and 8 inches, and you'll see that you have all the squares in the center here, and you've got the 2 1/2 inch tabs on each end. So then you leave it in here on the long side, and with the left edge on 6 5/8, we're going to do, oh, we'll need that out. Left edge on 6 5/8, which is 2 strokes past the halves after the 6 1/2. Now I'm just going to score from the outside edge down to that first score line. I'm going to stand up. I hope I don't get my head in the road. And I'm going to start on the score line. I find it easier to work with rather than coming down this way and then trying to stop. I put this there's a little slot on the side of the scorer. If you put that on the score line and go up, then lift your scorer up, go down to that second score line, so you're missing the middle section there, and put that on to the score line there and go down. So that's the only scoring you need on that, and that's correct. We'll go to the cutting of that in a minute. Now number 3, which is I'll give you the piece, 6 5/8 by 1 7/8, which is this one here, 6 5/8 by 1 7/8. Always double check, because sometimes I'll cut them wrong and then I'll muck up my whole video. Number 3, with the long side at the top, you're going 1/2 inch. Normally I would go from this side, but I've got to go all the way across, so I'm going it onto this side. 1/2 inch, 2 3/8, which is a couple of strokes before the 2 1/2, 4 1/4. Just take your time doing this so you don't make a mistake. And then 6 1/8, which we need this out, and that's just before that darker grey piece on your trimmer. So that's that. So you'll end up with 2 1/2 inch bits on each end, and then these squares here will be the same as the one before. That's all the scoring there is to do. So now we can fold and burnish, or we'll do this piece first. Fold and burnish all these score lines both ways, but like the oh no, not that one. Don't worry about the shorter score lines there. Tried to fold on that and it wouldn't fold. Those short ones there, don't do anything with those. So you've got the end little 1/2 inch tabs, and then all the other ones across, except the short ones, and then the 2 up and down that way. I find it easier to burnish all your scores and then cut. It's easier to cut. So now be careful with this one. We're going to cut to, how do I just double check this? I've got a template here. I'll go from that. I always do a template first. take that bit off. Which it doesn't want to come off. This is my bit of a template. We'll take that off the front because that's the other short piece. So this is what it should look like. Don't excuse all the glue and stuff on it. So this is what we're going to end up with. I'll do the cutting first and then we'll do the notching. We're going to cut right up. Doesn't matter which way you start. And you've got the short end facing you. You're going to cut up this score line right up to that, past that first long score line to the second score line. So right up to there, like so, and then the same on this side. Go right up, past the 1/2 inch score line, past the next one, and to the middle one there. It's in the middle of the card altogether. That's that. Now we're going to cut off. You're going to cut off where you scored this short score line. You're going to cut that piece off. Make sure you cut that and not up here. You need this tab, this 1/2 inch tab. I'll just trim that a little bit. It's a bit off there. So you still need this little 1/2 inch tab. So only cut off below the 1/2 inch tab on both sides. And that's cutting across the short score line, the little one to the centre. So that's all the cutting there that you need to do. We'll get rid of those little bits. I shall do this one's the same. It's just folding it all the one way. We won't worry about burnishing that because it's going to sit in a cube like that. So that's that piece. I can put that away. Now before I notch, I found it easier to put my tape on and then notch. I've got a roll of tear and tape here. I've got a 1/2 inch one here, but you can use, I think Stampin' Up! Is 3/8 of an inch. You can use that. Oh, this is not even, oh, that's right. I was going to put 2 strips across each. This is 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to put 2 strips just to be secure. If you do the Stampin' Up! Tear and tape, it's 3/8 of an inch. So I just put 1 strip across. But this one, it's the 1/4 inch. So I'm going to put 2 on the 1/2 inch tabs. So you want them on those 2 short tabs there. The 2 up a bit higher. I do recommend tear and tape for a bit more strength to hold it together. You don't want it falling apart once you've done all this work. And then across the bottom here. If you've got a wider tape that is 1/2 inch wide, that's even better because you can just put 1 strip across on each. If they do overlap, you just pull the backing off the under one first, and it works well. But I'll show you why I'm doing this before I notch. It's a much better idea. And then along this other edge, this 1/2 inch tab, you're going to go right the way across. This will be the bottom section of the card. I'm going to burnish all those as well, all the tear and tape. So that's all of that. Burnish those and that. And while I've got the tear and tape, we'll do these as well. So just on the 1/2 inch tabs top on the both ends of this. I thought if I put all the little squares together, it will save a lot of time. We just have to. And I did take a photo of the layout that I want them. So should be easy enough to, I won't have to keep shuffling them around where I want them. If you're doing it at home, you just work it as you go. I will show you one little trick where to start your squares as well, so you get them all nicely lined up. So we can burnish those as well. Now back to this piece, notch. I'll just get my little dish here. Now, I'm notching all my tabs, and because I've put the tear and tape on, when you notch it, your tear and tape comes right to the edge of your cut, so it makes sure that it holds it down. Sometimes if you miss right at the end, it doesn't secure it down right to the corner, so we'll have bits all over the floor, I suppose. So do your notching after you've put your tear and tape on. And it'll be all the tabs, those 3 at that end and either side of this one. Don't know why I've got a dish there, because it's not even going in the dish. I find it easier to have something there so I can just tip it straight in the bin, although I was doing something the other day and I had all little fine die cut bits in this dish, and I reached over to do something and the dish upended on the floor and all the die cuts, I had to get the vacuum cleaner out to clean it all up. It was a bit of a mess. So that's all the notching you need to do. Now, we've burnished all of those. So you'll need your first number 1 piece over here. And as I said, I'm going to do it this way. So this long strip up this end, you can take the backing off those 2. Just put my pick tool together. So I'll take the backing off that end, the long end where the long strip is. Fold that tab under. Now you can, that's the way I did the other one, so you can go along this open edge here on this end, or if you want to do your card this way, you'll have it on whatever facing the way you would open a card. So this is my bottom edge along here, and I'm going to put this should fit exactly. Now that fold line should go exactly on the bottom of the card, where the cut line is. So just maneuver it in, trying to get it nice and straight before I stick it down. You could use liquid glue on this, but I find tear and tape is much better. It's a little bit stronger. So that's pretty close there. Right, now this is the only tricky bit. You fold this down once. Where am I? I'm going this way. Yep. So on this, from the bottom here, this next score line across, just pull that down like that and take the backing off all of these. That didn't stick down too well, but it'll be fine. So you've got the backing off, you've folded it on this first score line up from the bottom, fold it down like that, tuck these under, all of them. You can do the, actually we'll do the side ones first. Make sure it's lined up down this edge, tuck that tab under and secure it down. Same on this side, make sure your card's nice and flat and tuck that down, even down the edges, and the same with this one, tuck it under and secure it down. And then when you pop it up, you can bend that back up, it will sit like that. And then all we have to do is the bottom one. It's going down the bottom here, there and there. So it's going not at the cut line, it's going down here. One score line up from the bottom. I hope I'm not confusing everybody. Sorry about this. We'll get it right yet. At least it shows that I make mistakes as well as everybody else. This one's right now. So it goes, if you've got your bottom one there where you did your first one, it's stuck down level with the bottom. Go up to the next score line and put your the little tab there on that next score line. Then fold this one under in half pretty much, or not in half, to that, fold that first score line down. Don't worry about the tab, this longer score line here. Fold that in under and line it up there. I hope I've got it right this time. we have. Yay! So it sits like that. You can see that. Finally got third time lucky. Always agree with third time lucky. If you have trouble, just keep replaying my video. Don't watch the first bit. So that's all of that. Now, I think I can put where these tabs are showing in here. I created an extra piece. That was this extra piece here. This in here will get covered with a little square, so you don't need to worry about that one. It's this one in here is going to have in there is going to have little squares as well. Along here doesn't have little squares, and I didn't like it the way these tabs were showing, so I've created this extra piece, and it's going to slide in there and cover over those pieces. It goes from edge to edge and top to bottom. So I'm just going to put some liquid glue on that. We can put that in first, so that finishes all of that base piece. Not too much glue, Laura. So just slide that in. It doesn't matter if it gets glued down on the bottom, because it's going to glue it down anyway. And it'll come right out to the edge on both sides. Easy enough to get in there. And push it right to the edge. And that just covers, you can run a ruler or a bone folder through there. I'll get my ruler just to push it down. Just neatens it up a little bit, so it's not showing your tabs in there. Now we'll glue all these little squares down. I've got my picture here. I'll go from that. So you need to start from this middle one at the top. And I'm going to do this one up here. That just gives you a guide either side. If you start over here and you get it too far over or not far enough, you end up with the wrong spacings between. So we'll just put a little bit of glue on that. And it's a 1/8 inch border all the way around, so it sort of centered that up. The trouble with gold, if you get glue on it, I'll move that over a fraction. Use liquid glue on these because you can maneuver them around a little bit. And then I've got From Our Family to Yours on this one, putting that over that side, so you can line it up, take it 1/8 inch over this side and line it up at the top there, so your mats are lined up in a row. And then I've got Merry Christmas on this one. I didn't do a lot of wording on this one. It's more decorating. The baby one, I was trying to find all little baby greetings that I could put on it, so I filled it up with a lot of those. Now we can just go ahead and do all the rest, and I've got them in a particular order. Well, I think they're going to be okay where they are. This little one's going here. You can line these up and down this way and do the border around. I've got a few checks and a few gold print ones. This big flower is going in the center. This can always go down flat if you want to work on it flat. You can't really put all these on until you've got the base assembled. You wouldn't know where to put them. That one in there. And then this one. I did keep them in order so they'd be easy to put on. I hope I didn't confuse you too much with that first bit. It's a little bit tricky as to where it's got to go, but even if you want to do yourself a template first with out of scrap cardstock, that does help. Then you'll know. And the sample bit that I had I just used scrap, and then I stuck it together with an adhesive that I knew would come apart, that I could pull it apart again. So if you've got, there's what they call repositional tape, you can use that, and then it doesn't stick permanent. You can pull it up again. I've got a few rolls of that. I use it all the time for samples. And then my green one. This takes the longest. This, I won't worry about my embellishments. I'll put them on later. I think I'm just going to put a few gold. There's actually there's some nice red ones in the mini catalogue as well. I've got a sheet of those. I might use those. And this one. And some of the ones underneath I'm decorating because you can see through there. It's not just these front ones that you see. I'm glad I took a photo of where I wanted them, otherwise I'd be humming and hawing trying to work out where it's going. Try not to drag the video out too long. It's gone long enough already. The little red dots on this one, they're part of one of the sets. I just stamped some little real red dots on them just to fill in some of the white look on it. And then this one at the bottom is this one here, and we should have 3 left, which is right. Then we've got one in here, and the other 2 are 1, 2. Not sure where I was putting them now. Where have I got these? I've got 3 across there, so we'll put one in there. I think I'll put the green one in there, because you can see across this in here, and it covers that tab as well. So just tuck that one in there, line it up as best you can inside. And then we've got one in here and one at the back there. One at the bottom and one at the back. So I shall put, I'll put the flat, oh, we've got that one, I'll put this one at the middle. Just going by the other one. I'll put that one in there. Covers up the tabs in there as well. And then one on the bottom down here where you can see as well. So they're sort of scattered. I tried to scatter the patterns. I did 2 of each of the patterns and then 2 stamped ones, so that you can do 1 of everything if you've got more paper, different paper, pattern paper. There was other patterns in the set, but I stuck to 2 of each. And that is it in there. Almost done. I really like that. Very pretty. And that can fold up that way for your envelope. And then we've got this piece here inside. And there's still lots of room there to write your greeting. You could just put strips of DSP in there if you wish. Instead of the big flowers like that. I wanted to sort of take up a bit of the space instead of all that white. I don't need a big area for a greeting. You could stamp a greeting in here as well. And that's showing it the other way, not the tent fold, the other direction with your card like you would normally open a card. So you can do it either way. And we are done. That's my bubby one. And that's different. Not sure which I prefer. I think I prefer this. It seems to sit better. This one here, I notice, unless you've got it pulled right up like that, when it's back like that, it tips up here. But it doesn't bother me. You can stand it up still. Just get that back bit to come forward. This one stands up a little bit better. And that is it. Thanks for joining me. Sorry about the little hiccup at the beginning, but it's all good. Just keep playing around, you'll find where it goes. Thanks for watching, and I shall catch you all again next Monday at 9 AM. Have a lovely week. Bye for now.